Hello students, welcome to today's class. I am Sunita from GK Jain Schools. Today I am going to teach you a poem from the class 10 standard English textbook, Unit 4. The name of the poem is The Ant and the Cricket. First let's see the introduction about the poem. The Ant and the Cricket is a fable written in the form of a poem by the Greek writer Aesop. Let me tell you what is a fable. A fable is a short story in which animals behave like humans and convey a message. Our poem, The Ant and the Cricket, is a story about two insects, namely the cricket and the ant. The cricket is a grasshopper-like insect. The cricket is silly, that does not care about the future and keeps enjoying the summer season, rather collecting food or making shelter for itself. On the other hand, the ant, it is wise. Instead of wasting time, it gathers food for itself and makes shelter. So this was a short introduction about the poem, students. And before we go on to the summary of the poem and look into the poetic devices, let's know about the author of this poem in detail.
About the author. Aesop's Fables is a collection of fables created to Aesop, a slave and a storyteller believed to have lived in ancient Greece between 620 and 564 BCE. These fables became popular when they emerged in print. Several stories are attributed to Aesop even today. The process of inclusion is continuous and new stories are being added. Collection of Aesop's fables were among the earliest books to be printed in many languages. Summary of the poem The Ant and the Cricket by Aesop. The poet says that there was a silly young cricket who was accustomed to sing during the spring and summer seasons. The poet calls spring and summer seasons gay because they are full of life. There is greenery everywhere. Food and water are in abundance. However, soon those months of rejoicing and joy passed away and winter came. Now the cricket was in trouble. He began to complain when he found that his cupboard was empty at his home. There was not even a crumb, that is, there was nothing to eat. There was snow on the ground and he could not even see one flower or leaf on the tree. Seeing this, he became sad and exclaims, "Oh, what will become of me?" The cricket had not eaten anything and was starving with hunger. It mustered its courage and set off to seek the help of a miserly ant to provide it with a mouthful of grain, that is, food and shelter from the rain. There was famine, chilling cold, and perhaps raining, which made the cricket wet and shiver a lot while travelling. It requested the ant to lend it some food and shelter and promised to repay by the next day, or else it will die because of chilling cold and hunger and sorrow of not doing anything. Hearing to the cricket, the ant answers that it considered itself to be his servant as well as a friend. However, the ant never borrow anything from others nor lend anything. Saying this, the ant questions and asks the cricket why did it not gather anything when the weather was warm during spring and summer. Hearing to the ant, the cricket replies that its heart was so light, that is, it was quite happy and did not care about the future. The cricket further says that it kept singing day and night, that is, all the time, as all the nature looked gay, that is, everything looked happy and joyful. He thought that the beauty of spring and summer as well as abundance of food and shelter will always remain there. He never cared about the future. Listening to the cricket, the ant tells him that he was singing and enjoying during the summer and spring. Now he should do the same, and the winter will go away. Saying this, the ant hastily lifted the wicket, quickly ended the conversation, and pushed the poor cricket out of the door. In the last two lines, the poet says that people call the story of ant and cricket a fable. However, the poet thinks that the story is quite true because there are many crickets with 4 legs as well as 2 legs. That is, there are insects like cricket who do not care about future, and also humans, that is crickets with 2 legs, who do not care about their future and repent when the time is gone.
So students, I hope you have understood the summary of the poem. Now let's look into the poetic devices of the poem. Let's start first with the rhyming words. Let's underline the rhyming words, students. In the poem, here the word sing rhymes with spring. So there is a rhyming over here. Let's move on to the second stanza. Found, ground are rhyming. See, tree are rhyming. In this stanza, bold, cold is rhyming, and grant is the rhyming. In this stanza, rain, drain are the rhyming words. Borrow, tomorrow are the rhyming words. After which there is a rhyming word in here in this stanza, friend, lend. Moving on to this stanza, light, night, gay, say are rhyming. The last one, wicket, cricket are rhyming. True, two are the rhyming words. So now let's write the rhyming scheme for the stanza. Let's begin it with A rhyming scheme. This will be A because these are rhyming words. As they are not rhyming, we'll give them a new letter B. This is C. Okay, students, let's move on. A. When the words are rhyming, we need to give the same letter. B. D. Again, we'll start here. A. B. B. This is C. C. Followed by this stanza. A. B. B. Okay, students. Now we'll move on to this stanza. This is A. B. 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 And the last stanza, A, B, B, C, C. So students, we have identified the rhyming scheme of the poem. Now let's move on to some more figure of speech in the poem. Let's begin with the alliteration. Let's identify the alliteration over here. You can see the alliteration in the first line of the poem. In this line you have S, repetition of the letters, mainly the consonants yes and yes. So we have an alliteration in this line, particular line. Let's see in the second line, sunny, S, the sound S, the summer, sound S, and spring, S. So there is an alliteration over here. Let's move on. Let's identify here. You have in the cupboard C alliterated with come. So let's find out, identify some more alliterations. And yeah, we have here one W and here W. So there's an alliteration over here, followed by this line. Yes, here we have an alliteration W and W with wet, W getting alliterated. Let's move on and identify some more alliterations. Yes, we have an alliteration over here, students. The starvation, yes. The sorrow, yes. So moving on here, let's find out. I think we have an alliteration over here. W, when, the weather, W. So here's an alliteration. Moving on this stanza, we have the and, A and A here, and away, A being alliterated. The next line we have an alliteration, he, H, and hastily, H. So there's an alliteration over here. And last, there's another alliteration over here, folks, F, and fable, F. So we have identified our alliteration, students. Now moving on to another figure of speech, let's identify. We have oxymoron. If you know what is oxymoron, oxymorons are words with opposite meaning. If you see here, there's an oxymoron where the word borrow and lend, they are in opposite in meaning. So there is a figure of speech named as oxymoron. Can we find some more oxymoron? I think we have in one more place. Yeah, we have here, students, day, night. They are opposite in meaning. So this is an, since they are opposite in meaning, there is an oxymoron over here. So let's now identify one more figure of speech. It's called as anaphora. What is an anaphora, students? The repetition of the words in the consecutive lines are called as anaphora, and we have anaphora over here, students. We and never. See, there is a repetition of the words and never. There is an anaphora over here. The repetition of the words in the consecutive lines are called as anaphora. You can see here also we have an anaphora. For all nature looked gay. For all nature looked gay. So in this lines you have anaphora. Okay, students. Last line, the poem, we have the metaphor. This line we have metaphor means implied simile, where we don't use the words like as or like, isn't it? Here the cricket has been told like a human, isn't it? Like, so there is a metaphor in this line. So with this we have identified. I hope you have understood today's class, students. So meet you again in the next class. Till then, thank you, students.